It's disgusting, isn't it, that our sovereignty has once again been overruled like this. And we need to remember these people have come through France, which is a safe country. They've, a lot of them, they're all coming here illegally. I've got no problem whatsoever with immigration, but these people are illegal immigrants. And, as you say, they're throwing their documentation in the sea. It's predominantly young men. I've read things about blacked out windowed vans, collecting them and things like that. It's big business. And the Archbishop of Canterbury saying what he said, I think, is extremely irresponsible. So, yeah, I think it's disgusting.
I think, Mike Porky Parry, that if there was an election tomorrow and Boris Johnson basically sought a mandate to get this sorted, he would achieve another landslide.
Oh, I totally agree with you. I mean, there's a huge majority in the country, I call it the silent majority, who are all for the Rwanda policy and will be infuriated by the fact that the Europeans have come in again. The Human Rights Act that Tony Blair introduced, I think it was a year after he got into power, 98, should have been scrapped the moment Labour were out of power. Gordon Brown, of course, was the last Labour MP. Because what it was basically doing was keeping the doors open for free-flowing immigrants to come to this country under the guise of the movement of labour around Europe. And what it basically did was it kept the price of labour in this country down rock bottom, and therefore the cost of living down rock bottom, which suited Tony Blair, Gordon Brown, all their mates in the city, and another very powerful lobby, and that is the lawyers, the human rights lawyers. The human rights lawyers lobby, the human rights lawyers industry is massively productive, it's powerful, it generates hundreds of millions of pounds, almost to the extent where you could say that the benefit to the people who are being illegally smuggled into this country is not just for the evil people who are putting them in the dinghies in the English Channel, it's also massively benefiting a lot of people in this country who work in that legal industry. And I have to say, because it's true, Tony Blair's own wife, Sherry, was a leading proponent of those who work in that industry, the human rights legal industry.
Ingrid, we can debate how many people should be welcomed into this country that have a claim for asylum. The issue is not the scale of migration into the country, it's the manner of it. We must have due process.
Yeah, but I think there is a scale of it too. We are really, really overcrowded. The cost to the country, the economy. I mean, with this, well, first of all, we paid them 120 million to Rwanda to take them in advance. But it costs £12,000 per person to process. That's once they get there. In the meantime, it's costing us 500 million to put them up in actually quite nice accommodation. Bearing in mind as well that we also had paid France a big sum of money twice to prevent them from coming over here. They keep taking the money. I mean, they must be laughing up their sleeves at us that we get it so wrong. And as for this very last minute, the European courts and everything, I think they've been working on this very, very silently and hard in the background because they absolutely knew what we were going to do. And then they scuppered it at the 11th hour. But interestingly, Denmark, they had the legislation passed last June. Now, surely it comes under the same European court process and legislation. So I don't know how, in that process, why Priti Patel didn't say, how did you manage to do that, Denmark, without anybody interfering at the last minute? Because the due diligence hasn't been done.